West, y'all.
And we are on. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Empty Out the Clip podcast, the EOTC. My name is Cams and I'm here in the heart of West Auckland with the brothers in the house, Leti and Eddie. What's up, my usos?
Usos.
See you guys.
Yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in. This is the Empty Out the Clip. This is a podcast where we talk about what's happened during the week and news. We don't do a lot of research. We just say what was on our hearts on the mics. We empty out the clip on all these topics that we're about to do. So hope you enjoy this episode. All right, boys, some shout outs. Let's go, Eddie.
Got a few shout outs just to my LST boys. My brothers Leo Donwaki, Jordan with that fitness. But big shout out to Leti and Cams, man. Been a while on this podcast and I was only covering temporarily, but it's official now with the merch. So I appreciate it, boys. Honor and a privilege, I always put 100% into this podcast, especially giving honest opinions and stuff. Also, shout out to the boys, Sapiri, Vaughan, David, Alex. They were coming with me. We had a special day yesterday as well, celebrating my younger brother. So shout out to those boys. Shout out to all my friends over in Australia as well, who sent lovely messages for yesterday. And one of my friends, Courtney, who sent over some kupe to buy some muffins. So shout out to you guys. Yo,
man. Oh man, I want to take this time just to make a special mention to the Dewa Fiaki, the Tongan Polar Bear, for lacing me up with the Ha'uji, just the new look. And also coming through to help us drop our price pack that Fu Pati won. And another shout outs to the man himself, Ghoster from Ranui, the NSL, for coming through and helping us put that price pack together. Another shout outs to the bro Noni, who's I know he's been able to get out and about and see his boys play national footy this weekend. And also another shout out to the Hakula under 17 Tongan girls team. I know Daryl's been part of that coaching staff, him and Wolfie, getting ready for the Pacific Cup coming up. Another shout out to the Tokelau under 17s. I know the boys Leah and Josh are trying to put a team together with Ronnie and that. Well, the best of luck. I know this is the time where in the holidays it's hard to try and get numbers together, but I mean if it gives you the opportunity to be recorded on live Sky television, man, why not? Hey, get down there and support your family, man. Don't be shy to flex your Turk side, man. You know we're a minority in the city, but we've been here as long as anyone else. And my last shout out's probably to my wife. We actually got up and did something together on a Sunday. She's usually either sleeping or because she goes to local. But we got up and went to Costco, man. So this was like running amok. I was a bit late jumping on this afternoon. But I got a lunch after this. Shout out to my two sisters if they do show up. So that wraps up my shout outs, boys.
Yo.
Thanks, boys. I just want to shout out to all the usual listeners of the WesWes Network content. We're on Spotify and we've got our YouTube channel, the WesWes Network YouTube channel. You can find all our podcasts there as well and all our videos we put together. Also, check out our magazine, our WesWes Sports magazine. It's out every month. You can check it out on our website, www.weswesnet.com. You can also find us on the Inside the Clip Facebook group page. It's private, so you gotta answer the questions and we'll let you in. It's your chance to throw in some comments, throw up some articles. We'll shout you out on the podcast and we'll talk about whatever you guys put up there. So there's that as well, the Empty Out the Clip Facebook group page. And yeah, man, thanks boys for jumping on again. You know, it's probably fun, eh? It's fun to do, eh? I find it fun, so it's good to connect every week and just regurgitate what you did during the week. So it's good to let that out too, eh? Like the platform to do that. So thank you, boys, for jumping on. And saying that, how was your week been, boys? How's your week, Eddie?
Week's been good. Man, all these little exercises that the physio gave me, I thought I was failing them, but when we did a stress test on Monday, there's a significant improvement in a lot of the numbers. So a lot of power, strength is coming back to my knee and quad. So that was good. Just basically, earlier this year, my younger brother passed away. So it was his birthday yesterday. So man, like we just all the boys just came together like the Avengers, bro. And we just rocked up to the cemetery and had some muffins, lit the candle. But we were like scared because like it rained hard for like 20 minutes, eh? I kind of blame my brother. I think he was trolling us for a little bit, eh? Because we were just, should we just still do this in the rain? And then now it just find up out of nowhere. It was mean. And then yeah, um, did the whole singing happy birthday and whatnot. And then went to this place in New Zealand. I'll talk about it later on for food review. It was a nice spot. And then to top it off, got the merch. So no, it was an awesome day. It was like an emotional roller coaster, but yeah, I felt good at the end of the day. Eh? It was like we accomplished something. So now it's been a good week actually. I count it as a win. So yeah, just yeah, like I said in other podcasts, man, I was celebrating the small wins. So no, it's a bit of a high at the moment, eh? How about you, Let's?
Oh man, happy birthday, heavenly birthday to your bro, man.
Oh, sick!
I know
Thank
that
you.
would have been a tough day for you.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I swear, man, I'm ready to change jobs. Like, it's time to manifest it, man. I think the skills that I've had on my resume in manufacturing is like just not being utilized, and I feel like it's time to move on. Like, been working indoors too long. I've been putting myself out there, like just trying to maybe get into peer support for the community. It's funny because I dropped off a application, and thanks to the bro, Cam's dropped off the hard copies because this lady didn't actually send like a online document to fill out. So the only other way was to print it out.
Ooh.
So I ended up dropping it off, and hopefully I get an interview. But yeah, when I look at the job, it's sort of like working with intellectual disability people, and I have an autistic son. It's funny when they say, "Oh, what kind of experience you have?" It's like I don't think it comes any better than having someone in your household, and I've got a deaf brother as well, so I sort of get the
Yeah.
way things can change, in the instance, in a second. Hopefully, I get an interview and they look past like I'm not like a tertiary educated person, but I mean, in terms of life skill and possibly all the stuff that I've learned from standing behind the chair as well can come to use, some sort of use, and then also just me being working through my mental health stuff as well. But the week's been ugly, bro. Like I had a bad back on Tuesday, strained my back at work, and then on top of that I had gout in the ball of my foot. Like I've never had gout there before. Like I assumed it was plantar fascia. Told the doctor, and he felt it. He said, "Oh no, it doesn't look like gout. I've never seen gout triggered like that." It wasn't until I did my blood sprays. The man messaged me, bro, I need to get my shit together, right? He said, "Oh, you're close to being like diabetes, your pre-diabetes, your uric acid's high, cholesterol's high, because you just need to get on top of it." So now it's been a bit of a wake-up call. My daughter's been on my ass about eating shit now, so it's one of those things, like, it's like, I fear, like, the fear is not hearing my wife say, "Go for a walk." The fear is not being alive next year for my son, so it feels like I owe a job change so I can help my older boy, and then I want to be around for my kids, man. I don't think anyone wishes that they wake up every day, but I'm at that point when I'm waking up, I'm going to work. I didn't even want to be there, man. It's simply just to put a roof over our heads, but I mean, if that's the sacrifice I have to sort of put myself through, then I'll do it. But I'm looking, because yeah, I'm sort of over this place that I'm at the moment. But now the week's been, yeah, it's been like that. So I think the highlight of my day was seeing one of my bros, my mate Sonny, seeing his son on his on Lizzie's post, and her autistic boy. He's Cartel. He's at Avondale. Was driving her around, man. Like that was probably one of the highlights on my socials. And then seeing you yesterday was like, yeah, just being able to give you your shirt, man. Like you've been a perfect fit for the pod, man. I know I've said that you were always good for it. And then yeah, I think a little bit deflated that Paris didn't even make the top 8 this year. A little bit, but no, yeah, just being able to tick off the little things like get Lipo's price pack sorted, pop in and have a good yarn with the polar bear, and yeah, and then catch up with Gulfstar yesterday. So I managed to get that all done yesterday. So yeah, man, I've just been at home laying down, man, which is not a good thing, because bro, that strain in my back, literally, I had like 3 days of like Voltaren and prednisone, And that only sort of just got me up to sort of like just do the kangamea and wheel the bin out. But yeah, man, I'm ready for a job change. Like I don't think my king was made to go under conveyors.
Yeah.
Like man, I'm not a gymnast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my week, bro. Nothing too glamorous. But you, Cams, how's your week been also?
Yeah, man. Just going back to what you're saying about how you got your blood results and that, and what the doctor told you. I just watched a video of Dana White. He had a little thing on, I think it was TikTok. I saw it on a little interview when he was talking about how don't go to the doctors if you're sick, because all they'll prescribe to you is medicine. And he said that, and he said that's the go-to is medicine rather than just eating healthy. And that's been the narrative like for so long. Like I heard that before. People on social media saying the same thing and all that kind of stuff, but they're not like just after what you've said it. It's like I was just thinking, well, it's because it's hard to eat healthy. So what are you gonna do in the meantime? You have to take meds. You know, if people like me struggling to lose weight, I had the same conversation with my doctor like in the beginning of the year, and he said the same thing to me, like pre-diabetic, need to do something about it. You start off slow, but it's really hard to just change overnight. It's really hard to change your diet overnight and try to start eating healthy, because you still gotta battle the urges. You still gotta battle your whole family too, because your whole family has to eat the same thing, but no one's gonna do the same thing. So it's either you have your separate meal to your family, which is really hard, or you just take medicine, because it's hard to get anything done in the meantime. So yeah, man, it's a struggle. It's but yeah, I get it. I get that natural health is a thing. You eat healthy, and slowly your body goes back to being young again. Slowly, the older you get, the more harder it is to do that. But at least it's working. It can be slow, but it's hard to eat healthy. It's hard, especially when all the prices of food are high, and to eat healthy, it's much more expensive. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's that thing, where you have to give and take, but I think it's just one of those things that we have to push through anyway, and just do what we got to do. But I get your reasonings, and it's always the same reason, especially when for fathers and when they have kids. There's always that reason to stay alive longer for your kids, and I can relate to that too. So yeah,
And that's
good, man.
powerful way. It's a powerful reason why. That's so
great.
powerful, man. It's you
Yeah,
can't come between a parent and a child, man. That bond
Well,
is
that's
solid.
it. I get a second chance at it. I know what I am capable of, but it's just whether I have the willpower to just action it now. So if I manifest it now, man, hopefully I'm gonna start getting skinnier and skinnier, and that's the goal. The goal is to be around. We're gonna talk about one of the stories today, but it's like I'd hate to leave this life and all the kids carries my name. I want to leave something behind, so I might as well suffer in my misery just a little bit longer until something better pops up. But until that door opens, it is what it is.
But other than that, no, the good week. It's funny because this week at work, both my bosses were away on holiday, so it's sort of like unsupervised work all week, which is okay. But you just notice little things that change, like people coming late, people leaving early. It's like, oh, those ones, But I think, but then again, it's like at the same time, it's sort of not cruisy, but there's no. It's not. I'm not saying work is stressful and all that, but there's that just weight is lifted when the bosses ain't there. It's this untalked about thing where you just relax, but it's like it shouldn't be a problem, in the first place. But it's just the extra thing that's not around that's kind of like makes it easy to be at work. I can't explain it, but
Micromanagement. Yeah.
Even though my bosses don't do that, they don't do the micromanagement. But I think it's a strange feeling when they're not there. It's like you think in your head it's micromanagement, but it's not. But yeah. But I had an easy week. It was an easy week at work, so enjoyed it. This weekend, man, yesterday went to the movies. Probably talk about it on if we have time to do what we've been watching. But I went to the movies twice, man. I went to 2 movies in one day. I was like, hey, I haven't done that. So we went to one movie. We went to watch The Joker, the new one. And then we watched Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I think because The Joker wasn't that great, and we left the movie feeling makes us want to watch something good. So we went to watch Beetlejuice, and that was better, but it wasn't that great. It wasn't as good as the first one. But
That sounds like what the kids did as well. They went and watched Beetlejuice on Tuesday when I got back from work. I left work with a sore back. And then, bro, they made me watch the first one with them, and I forgot how scary it was,
Oh.
And I couldn't go to sleep after that. I was like, fuck. When they did the sounds bit, and I was like, shh. And then they summoned them back up and to fix it. Fuck, I was like, freaked out, no?
Yeah, it's a bit more horror in the new one.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, man. Had a easy week. Had a crazy week, and it's gonna be even more better because tonight got the grand final. Penrith Panthers and Melbourne Storm's gonna be a good game, man. The two best teams of the whole year, and they're gonna face each other. So well deserved grand final for these two teams. It goes to show how far the other teams are. Not up to scratch with these two teams, man. So it's good to see them at full strength too. Except for Melbourne, they lost Solomona to the headshot that we talked about last week too. But yeah, man, all good. Okay, boys, but let's you put this up on our Facebook page, eh?
Yeah. And shout out to Knocker for messaging to touch on it, because it's not one that was big in the news at the moment, but I mean, from 2-3 days ago, I think the big news that came from it was the Stephen Stone murder, and that was the release of the lady supposedly who ordered the hit. And all of this unveiled over Gone Fishing podcast. So shout out to whoever went in depth and let the bro have his yarn about it, because he still says to this very day he's innocent, and he's now asked if he could be on bail until they can get a proper, well, I don't know, would it be a proper hearing, because I don't think this guy's even had the time of day, and whether any of the evidence put in front of whoever looked at this case was served properly, man. Because I don't know how you can put two different cases together and say it's this one dude. Like, from what I saw and what I read, it didn't really make sense. And for the guy's dad, when he shared that there was no hard evidence, he never got a legal aid to stay there with him, and just the way they came about taking him away was sort of like unjust as. So I want to know who those cops are, if they're still police officers, because freaking that is the most worst of the worst in trying to put a case together. I mean, yeah, my heart goes out to him, and I hope that if he was guilty or whatever he was found guilty of, that they can actually prove it with some actually hard factual evidence, even DNA. So what do you guys think when he's opened that fucking can of worms up? That was pretty, well, that's what I thought of it.
No, yeah. Same with you, Leti. Like, because I didn't really know much about the trial, so I started doing a bit of reading. It's a twisted trial, eh? There's so much mismanagement of evidence and whatnot, and like you said, he wasn't given legal aid, but like some of the witnesses and people with alibis and whatnot, they were interviewed 9 years after. Like, man, can you remember what you did 9 years ago on a particular day? Can you remember particular details? And these are all crucial. So I've seen other cases where police or current police officers, private detectives had revisited some of these cases and it discovered like police negligence. And always like this case kind of reminds me of these three South Auckland girls. You
Yeah.
mentioned it, Leti, when they got arrested and and how they were affected by mismanagement of evidence, and also like police guiding witnesses to a certain photo or certain direct line of questioning. But yeah, I mean, if the lady ordered the hit, is it Gail Maney?
Mm.
She ordered the hit, and she's been acquitted of not ordering it. Then it goes to show that they need to look into Stephen Stone's case.
Yeah.
And if he's found not guilty, that's over 20 something years that he's been in there. So the police will have to compensate that. That's taxpayers' money gone, because the police haven't, done their job to the full extent. So it's definitely messy. And apparently in one of the articles I read, there was new evidence being brought to light. So yeah, it goes to show, man, like when something happens, the police need to like do everything by the book, nail it down, do it straight away. Don't leave it for 9 years later and pin a different, thing. But time will tell. That's my take on it.
Yeah, there's police negligence all over this case, man. And
Yeah.
when it comes down to all that kind of stuff, like the incentive to close this case, when you have, because I saw the interview of the investigator that came on board recently for this case to help the woman get off. Like he came on this case because he was interviewed by a podcast. So there was a podcast called Gone Fishing. It was done by two journalists from RNZ, and their podcast was about this case, this specific case, which led to interview with one of the investigators, which led to investigator going further into it and discovering the police negligence at the time with, the police reports that some things were missing, evidence wasn't there. And he came to the conclusion, this is from his interview, that the conclusion was that he said it was like they had a theory in the beginning and they just worked towards that theory no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, we think this happened, so we'll make it come true. It's like, what the fuck? What kind of police work is that? That's like that kind of police work is, okay, we don't care about all these guys involved are like, are like losers, so let's just make sure they all go to prison because no one cares about them. Yeah, it's that kind of attitude,
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And it's sad because you see it in movies too. And it's sad to see it happen here. And this is what it looks like. It's happening. So you can imagine a cover-up too. A cover-up from... And you won't be surprised if you hear a cover-up from higher-ups in the police department, and when the shit goes down, like the protection of these cops that solve this crime. They think they solved this crime, but, it's in the books, and that's what matters. It's in the books. The case closed. We've done the job. Oh, no one cares. We solved the case. The murderer's in jail. That's it. Let's move on. And it's like sad because now, 20 years later, this happens, and you find that it's not true, or some things are not true, and the woman that got let off, she shouldn't be there. And now the guy, Stephen Stone, is still in prison. He got let. So because of this new information, they let him have a parole away. I think that's the thing. But because he's indicted on the rape and murder of one of the girls that were at the scene of the crime, he's done for that. So now that's questionable now, and he's arguing his innocence all that time, same as the woman. And then if you look at what they're saying, like, here's a house in West Auckland, and it happened in the garage where there's like 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 7 people in this garage, killed that guy that supposedly killed that guy that was meant to be lost fishing, but maybe he's still out. Maybe that's how he disappeared in the first place. He was fishing for real and was lost out at sea. So, and the woman, she said she hasn't met that guy because the case was that he robbed her and it was payback for him robbing her, and she's saying, oh, I never met the guy, so I don't know. Put two and two together. The prostitute that got killed, raped and killed, that Stephen Stone got done for, it happened in another area. It happened
another part of Auckland,
and they just put that case, connected it with that case somehow, and it got lost in the report somewhere. So yeah, a lot of dodgy stuff, man. A lot of dodgy stuff, and it points down to either cops who are lazy, cops who just don't care and just want the case closed, or cops that just aren't good cops and ruined innocent people's lives because of that. And also because of that, maybe the real killer of the prostitute is still out there. You know, got away with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's dodgy, man. It's dodgy. And I've seen all those movies where, you know, the cop accidentally kills an innocent bystander and goes up to the bystander dead body and plants a gun in their hand and do those kind of things, those setup things. It's like that, man.
But what's alarming also was that Stephen's dad was like saying like they had like witness statements. Supposedly, while these guys were in the garage of a house being built next door, but the timeline doesn't even fit. Like, how the hell can they take out witnesses that lived next door, supposedly while the house was just a skeleton? They can't even say that they lived next door while all of that stuff had happened. Like, bro, it's common sense, man. But I mean, because he didn't have a lawyer present with him and to, you know, take his statement or like tell him what he could be facing. Like, bro, of course he's just gonna be there, and then police are just gonna fabricate a story and say that's what happened, eh? Because obviously their witness statements is so probably a made up one, a Popello one. I mean, it could be anybody's mate from the pub, man. Hearsay, you know, and a lot of it is hearsay. But I mean, to use witness statements that have failed in many cases in New Zealand history, like, we just can't. They're not reliable, you know, because anyone's memory can remember what it wants to, but not what actually did happen, you know. So that's the sad part.
The good thing that came out of the story was the podcast itself, the power of podcasting.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it took a podcast to just do a story on this, which led to the opening back up of this case and getting this woman released. You know, finding out that she's innocent. Anyway, she was innocent after all. You know, and hopefully the same can be done for Stephen Stone, who's still in jail at that time. But that's the power of podcast, man. And we never had this platform before. And it's actually a common thing, especially in the States, where you get those true crime podcasts that actually do some good years after the events happen. Years after people have gone to jail and all that, they reveal new information on cases and they get reopened and it gets resolved again. So, yeah, man, I think that's why a lot of these true crime podcasts are popular, because a lot of that stuff happens, especially in the States. And it's good that it's happened here with one that's local. So, yeah, pretty good.
Things like human nature that we want closure. So these podcasts draw attention, forces the police to investigate, because if there's no attention, like if the podcasts don't exist, there's no attention to these cases, it'll just be a cold case to the end of time.
Exactly. That's a good segue for our next topic. Anyway, the giving some
unsolved mysteries.
Unsolved mysteries. That's a good segue for our next topic, getting into how podcasts can spread word and get light on something that's happened in the past, some crime that's happened or some dishonesty that's happened. And this is exactly what happened with Nadene Lomu. And she's come on 581 PI with an interview happened 9 days ago, last week. And she talked about her experiences fighting over the rights with her ex-husband who's passed away, the great Jonah Lomu, passed away with his company, his likeness and his image all locked up in a contract that his lawyer owns. And nothing is going to Nadene and nothing is going to the kids. Also big ups to EOTC, who's on his recent podcast has talked about this topic, and if you guys heard it, like, man, it goes deep into it, and it's like something that you probably would never think, and it's all because of her interview with 531 PI. So they've come and talked about it from that interview, and it's sort of we're going to talk about it too, but from their perspective and from the interview, because I posted up the interview for you guys to watch as well.
It's all about Jonah's legacy and like what feels natural, like coming from a Polynesian cultural perspective. Like the shit that's gone down between Christopher Darlow and Nadene. That shit shouldn't have happened. It should have just gone to her and her kids straight away. You know, that's Polynesian customs. That's why we got Macais and chiefs that debate and, you know, divide everything equally. And like this guy, bro, he's a sole shareholder of this company. What's his agenda? Is his agenda to make money for himself? Is his agenda to make a legacy that he can profit off? Or is he out to look after the family? And with his recent run-in with Nadene, it's not about family. It's all about, you know, him making a name for himself, him having full ownership and giving the rights to Silver Entertainment in the UK, to make a production docu-series. Like, you know, it's not even local. So, I don't know, man.
Well, he's definitely going to make profit from that.
Yeah.
If he owns the shares and all that, he's definitely going to make profit off that documentary.
Yeah. It's just, I feel for the Nadene, yeah, but I feel for the boys more. Because, you know, they're young, man. They're growing up, and, like, you know, we spoke before about the bonds between the parent and the kids, man. Like, I feel like Jonah probably wanted something different for his boys. You know, he wanted to leave something for them. He didn't expect to pass the way he did. I think he wanted to build something more before he went. And, you know, when you guys talking about it before, about, you know, especially you, let's talk about your kids and whatnot, that kind of reaffirmed, like, man, like, Lomu wanted the same for his kids. Every Islander parent wanted to do the same, you know. I know it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. This Christopher Darlow. I hope that he can readjust his moral compass and at least give Nadene some shares, or let her have a say in the docu series, you know, or even just, you know, shut it down and let his legacy live on the way we remember him by, you know. Because some of these docu series and these biographies, they want to be trendy and they show all the dirty stuff that happened on the side, just to be, you know, more relevant. But in island culture, sometimes that's not necessary. Let the past die with the past. But yeah, that's just my 5 cents.
Solid also. Firstly, I applaud Nadene for coming forward and using a platform like 531 to share what she's been going through. Because it's not easy, man. It's not easy to be married to the first iconic global superstar in rugby, and then where he never thought he was going to have kids. Jonah even admitted that he never thought he'd ever have kids, and she blessed him with 2 beautiful boys. And now these boys don't know anything of their dads, you know? Just like those 2 jerseys I shared about that are setting up at the All Blacks experience. They donated jerseys. World Rugby makes thousands of dollars off it, and they just sit on display. None of that goes to his boys, you know? So the fact that a guy who had Jonah's best interests, so to speak, had shares in something that belonged to Jonah, like by default they belonged to Nadene, you know. And if she had done something while she was still grieving, and this guy knew, he didn't try to advise her or anything, you know. He couldn't have just penciled that in and made that official. But to 100% own Jonah's businesses now and not even think anything to gift to his boys is heartless, man. Like that is as low as you can go, especially someone who works in that sort of, who specializes in that and wills and stuff like that, you know. And it's awesome that Eliota shared the info that he did on their podcast, because it goes to show, like, even us Pacifica people need to realize, like, hey, just because we might be working and stuff, you know, we should leave stuff behind, but have it in writing, man. Because, and if someone wants to write a probate and go kick it up and fight over your estate, they have every right to, man. So it might be better to leave your stuff in a trust, you know. These perpetual guardians like this guy, bro, like they are vultures, man. This guy didn't want anything to go to Nadene, and it clearly shows, man. Like, he was willing to accept her shares when she signed them over, and he didn't try to advise her, hey, you got 2 kids, you don't want to split those shares that you own. Now he owns 100% of both companies, man. Like, and it's given him so much power that she can't even have a say on anything that belongs, that's anything imaged of Jonah, anything. Like, how rough is that got to be, you know? Not only that, like, she's got to revisit and see all the stuff when it comes back up, like on the big screen. But then here her poor boy's gonna see maybe a different story and a different take of how some of the world or how this documentary is going to perceive Jonah, and she doesn't have the power to stop it, you know. So that must, man, her roller coaster must be the freakiest one and one of the hardest ones to sit on, man. Like even just thinking about her trying to protect their boys, but not even that, like just the fact that they're not entitled to anything that's made of any of this stuff, you know. It's probably the saddest thing ever.
Bring back that raw trauma, eh?
Yeah, man.
In the offside show, they mentioned a little thing of thought about maybe why the lawyer was protective of the money is because of the 2 divorces that Jonah Lomu had, and for it to happen on third time was protection from that. I just thought about it now, and it's something I don't buy. I don't buy that. If that was a thing, because the kids, man, because of the kids. I mean, it doesn't even matter that he's got a third wife. What matters is those kids. I mean, it doesn't matter if she was a bad mum, if she was abusive to Jonah. That doesn't matter either. It's the kids. The kids got no fault in anything. And for any divorce that happens, if any custody battle that happens in the court, it's still all about the kids. It doesn't matter what the parents hate each other or fight or, you know, lose money here, lose money there, or hate each other's guts, have lawyers battle each other. All that doesn't matter. What matters is the kids. What's best for the kids.
Yeah.
And it's their upbringing. The courts have to always think about the kids, and that's what they do. And with this case, that's left out. That's the big part of the puzzle that's left out of the whole thing, right? And that's the sad part about it. This documentary that's going to come out. I mean, yeah, if you look at what's happening on Netflix, what's trending now at the moment with sports documentaries, like that, they're flying out the Hollywood door. You know, if you look on Netflix, there's all these sports documentaries, these biops that they're coming out, making a lot of money. You know, the David Beckham one came out recently. There's a lot, man, right? There's Full Swing, the one about golf. There's the Six Nations, one about the Six Nations, you know, and that's the same people that did the Drive to Survive. So it's trending now. Sports documentaries are trending now all over the world. And they make a lot of money.
That's the sad part.
That's the sad part.
This is going to make billions of dollars, right? And how much of that is this boy's going to see? Exactly. Jack shit.
Exactly. Man. And that's the sad thing about it. Because it's owned by this Palangi lawyer dude, like, where are they going to get the stories from? And if it's true, what Nadene was saying on the interview, that, you know, the island boys that Jonah Lomu was close to, do they ever get a say on his life in this documentary? Or is this purely a money-maker scheme on Jonah Lomu's name from a Palangi's perspective?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, and I agree with what Nadene was saying with she's fighting to stop this documentary from happening because there's no control out of what's real in Jonah Lomu's life, she believes. Yeah. And if you're not going to have Michael Jones have a say in it, if you're not going to have these islanders that played with Jonah Lomu have a say in any of this, you know, then what's the point? What is this documentary about? Is it just documentary doubling down on what the public have seen of him, overseas public? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's no... And what was in-depth part of this documentary going to be? It's going to be all bullshit or just leave out a lot of stuff. So, yeah. That's the other sad thing about this. And when this documentary comes out, it's important, and you are right, Leti. It's important that the Offside Show have brought this out and had their views on it. And it's important everybody talks about this because this documentary will come out and people need to know the other side of the story. Yeah. And yeah, it's good that she came out and finally did the interview to talk about her side of the story. Because whether you thought she was all eats before she spoke out all these years, you know, after Jonah Lomu's death, because that was what people thought. She was the third wife trying to grab some money because she never said anything. Now she's saying something. It's like, oh, okay, there's more to the story than that. So,
but I wish, and I sort of wish that Laoli Michael Jones and the rest of Jonah's close boys that are still around, like, if this documentary does come to the big screen, that everyone boycotts it because it's not right, man. if there's one thing that these rugby legends are capable of, is that telling people not to watch it. So when it goes to the big screens and it comes to the big screens here, that it fails, that cunt doesn't get anything, man. Because if he's got it in his blood just not even consider the boys, well, this guy should die of cancer, bro. Because that is heartless. That is the worstest thing you can do, especially to the Lomu name, especially to Jonah's legacy, man. Like he doesn't deserve any of it.
Yeah, like just the last thought. Even if the lawyer had a problem with the third wife, wouldn't he just split the shares for the two boys? Like, skip the wife, because the boys are not in a relationship by marriage to Lomu.
Yeah.
It's by blood.
Yeah.
Blood is stronger than any lawyer that could ever fucking have any concern. Like, it's just, man.
We just have to manifest it for now. So when the boys turn 21, that they have all this money sitting there for their futures, man.
I hope so, bro.
That's all we can hope.
And for me, that will make me happy. Like, Lomu's left something for them. Like, it's not even been a solid period.
Yeah, so this is a good lesson for the future, of any Pacific Island athletes that will come up and make a lot of money, will come up and be superstar on Jonah's level in the future. You get all these sharks coming around trying to grab a piece of the money train. It's the money train, man. You gotta watch out for these sharks. The shark's called great white shark. The great white shark. There you go. There you go. The great white shark.
Surely. Do what mum said. Oh my God, don't go swim over there. It's deep. Hey, just stand. If you go Makafanga, just stand where you can see knee deep. That's enough. Any deeper, sorry.
Shit, man. But no, seriously, hey, you gotta what, man? If your kids, man, grow up to be superstars, man, you gotta watch out, man. Those great white sharks, man. Gotta watch out for them.
Yo, like it.
All right, boys. This is probably a light one, but Johnny Sexton, he's an Irish rugby player. Is that his name?
Yeah, Jonathan Sexton.
Yeah, so he's retired, but he came out with a book, autobiography, and in the autobiography, he's got a chapter on when they lost the World Cup game against the All Blacks on the semi-final. And he mentions a moment after the game where Reiko ioane sort of trash talks him. And he sort of says to him, happy retirement. What did he say? Happy retirement. You can't, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the background was in that, but to have him put him in his book, like hit with the heart as he put it in his book. But it was sort of like saying that, man, I thought the All Blacks were like humble, and humble guys, and you got this guy coming up and calling me a cunt. I was like, what? Hey? So I think he shed a tear on that one, but he put it on his book, and then it came out on the paper, and I was reading it when it first came out. I was like laughing at it, and then I think I heard some people on social media, like some mainstream media guys, talk about what happened, and they're saying it was good for the game when that kind of thing happens, because it hypes up. Because obviously New Zealand gonna play Ireland soon in the November test, so it's sort of good banter and good fuel to build up that fire of that game. So there's some people that liked what happened, and there's probably some people that don't. It's not what the All Blacks are about. We don't do that sort of thing in our culture. It's hurting the All Blacks culture, that sort of thing. So there's debates about it. Since then, Reiko ioane has come back and responded to what Johnny Sexton said in his book. And he posted a picture. I don't know what the Instagram picture was, but he had the Cranberry song Zombie playing in the background. And he just said a caption saying, in your head, referring to the name of the song. One of the lyrics in the song. So, yeah, a bit of banter in the game. What are you guys' thoughts on that, on all of that?
Well, culturally speaking, right, this culture in the All Blacks, all this shit is off. It's all a load of shit, man. I mean, if someone sledges you when you're playing footy, that's like say, fuck, run it straight, man. Yeah, run it straight. If you're gonna talk shit, back it up, right? So like when you talk morally, talking in All Black culture, like fuck, come on, man. You've had Tana Umanga. Remember that famous interview he did, and he goes, fucking, new show number, Blanchard, sir, and he said, yeah, get it. Bro, what are you talking? Where does the All Black culture and that come into that part? All the stuff, like, come on.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game. But I mean, if you look into, okay, there's a whole lot of rugby fanatics saying, "Oh, it's not a gentleman's way to speak to a guy retiring." Well, he should have fucking thought about that before he started talking shit, man. People are he's gonna be known as the guy who was always talking smack on the field. So it's what is everyone gonna be? Oh, because it's his last game. Good fucking job. He shouldn't. I hope he did miss his plane. Because fucking if that kept him up at night and it's in his head, well, fucking good fucking job, man. He talk shit. You gotta back it up, man. And too bad they couldn't back it up, man. So good on Reiko for fucking telling it as it is, man. Like, yeah, guys like that. You know, if Fia like fully just not snubbed him and just said, "Nah, fuck you, you suck on that." Like if Fia snubbed him like that, it would have had to been a build up of other things as well, not just from the one game.
Yeah.
Like if it's in the one game, bro, if someone like puts you out and then you missed the whole game, yeah, I wouldn't want to shake your hand. But if you're talking shit back and forth, but that's over a series of games, of course, bro, it's no. I don't want to go drink in the pub with you. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'd rather fucking put you out and then you come with a broken jaw or in crutches. Then are you a girls? Fucking banter like that. But nah, bro, Kiwi culture, come on, man. You're fucking making us sound fucking soft, man.
Yeah.
Come on. The All Blacks are supposed to be feared for their haka, but when you start talking shit like that, nah, fuck. Piss off, man. Don't fucking make us out to be gentlemen. We're not fucking gentlemen. Bro, All Blacks culture back in the days, they used to finish the game, fucking go drink beers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, until it became professional, nah. But otherwise, nah. Whatever he said in the moment, hey, he owned it. And Sexton's fucking what? Irish must be soft, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
It's in your head, Sexton. It's in your head.
No, there you go. We'll see. He's probably gonna go to one of the psych wards when he's older, man. Talking about it.
Yeah. I like, man, like the teams I'm not like keen on is probably France and England. I don't mind the Irish. I don't mind the Scottish. I don't mind the Welsh. I feel like those teams, like, they always go to the next level when they play the All Blacks. You know, in terms of sledging, man, remember when George Gregan told us 4 more years? We didn't complain. It became famous. It was like the rally call. It was the rally call for us to fucking get him back. And I remember 2011 when we beat Aussie in the semis. Was it semis or quarters? Yeah, we beat Aussie, and I remember George Gregan was crossing the street in Auckland, and someone in the taxi rolled down the window and goes, 4 more years! Like, you know, he wasn't even playing, but, like, you know, it was famous to say it to him, eh?
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoy the sledging, I'm not going to lie. It kind of hypes for the next engagement. I remember what you said, you know, I remember what you said. Yeah, I'll get you back. So, I went through the stuff, so apparently, so what happened was Ronan Kelleher from Ireland ran the ball and was tackled by Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock. I forgot who was the first tackler, but anyway, the second person that came into the ruck grabbed the ball. Ireland defends that he didn't release when he was tackling, therefore it should have been Ireland ball, but the ref blew the whistle and was saying that the Irish player was holding on it. And so that gave the penalty. So Reiko turns to Sexton and says, get back 10 meters. And Sexton goes, huh? He goes, get back 10, it's a penalty. And that revs Sexton up there. And then, you know, the final whistle blows. And they were still, like, in the same, like, within, like, earshot distance. And ioane goes, don't miss your flight tomorrow. Enjoy your retirement, cunt. And then Sexton's like, in his book, he said, oh, I couldn't let that go. I had to walk up to him. So Sexton follows him and goes, fake humbleness, fucker. You know, like straight away, like fires back. For me, that's fine. There's a little bit of banter here, but like, I don't know, like, it's funny, like the book's not even released until the 10th, but the extracts of the book, they chose to zero in on that. Hey, it was crack up. But even like I think it goes back to when Ireland won the 3-game series down here. When it came down, they won 2 games, and one of the Irish players said to Sam Cane, "Oh, you're shit, Richie McCaw." And then at the World Cup, Brodie, he admitted that he said to the same guy that said it to Sam Cane, he goes, 4 more years, fuckwit. So again, it's just banter, and like the thing is, like media just wants to pick it up and hype the game more, and I'm all for it. I reckon it's good to have banter. It's good to have that rivalry. I mean, it's weird we have this big rivalry with South Africa, and yet we don't say shit to each other, But that's the best game, South Africa All Blacks,
Mm.
But even when Samoa, Tonga, and all that play, like we say some stuff on the field, it gets heated, and then straight off the field we're shaking hands, we're Toka Uso again. It's like I don't know, Sexton just needs to let it go. Put in your book, we don't care, but it's like I reckon it's kind of good for the game, especially now. I mean, like we said to multiple episodes about us losing the viewership to NRL. This is one thing to bring it in, bring back that rivalry. But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think right now Super Rugby, especially Super Rugby,
Yo,
needs a big rev up, man. Needs a big rev up, and this is the kind of thing that does that to competitions. The banter, the the trash talking and all that. And
yeah,
but the trash talking needs to come into the media, and the media needs to hype it up. And that's what America's good at, man. That's what Australia's good at now. NRL's good at doing that. If you look at
100%.
NRL, like there's heaps of controversy. There's a lot of controversy, and the media blow it up. They blow it up from nothing, and then fans get riled up. And the fans, when those teams meet, man, the fans got something to lose or something to win for. Hey, like it's a narrative. It's all about the narrative. New Zealand sucks at doing that. You know how I can tell? Just watch an episode of The Breakdown. Man, those guys on The Breakdown do nothing. Do nothing to the game, man. They don't even criticize how, what's obvious. What's obvious that needs to be criticized, they don't even push it past the line. It's man, it's lame.
Yeah.
It's so lame. It's like we're scared to I don't know, push the boundaries. But man, this day and age, man, we're getting suffocated from NRL stuff. Even Americans been doing that for years. Like, if you're an American sports fan, if you like NFL, especially NFL, and if you watch all those sports talk programs in ESPN, you'll know what I mean. You compare that to our sports programs, our sports media, nothing compared, man. Like Leti said, we're soft. And we are soft when it comes to that. Because we're too scared to push the narrative, and needs to be pushed. Because that's what the rest of the world are doing. We're going behind and behind as years go by.
Yo,
Also, we don't want to rustle feathers because they're too scared to be cancelled,
yeah,
That's what it is, man. But it's like, fuck, if you own what you say and stick by it, then let your muli be sore when you're going through the pain later, Fuck it. Just fucking own it, But yeah, we just seem to be real weak like that.
Yeah. So in saying that, like, whatever happened in this altercation between the two, I'm all for it, Because
Yeah.
the media is just doing what the media does. And and the outcome of that is you're hyping up this game. Now, even though Johnny Sexton's not going to play, he's not playing there, he's retired. So, but it actually hypes up this game against Ireland. Now, Ireland's got something to play for the honor of what Johnny Sexton said in the book, and probably when the All Blacks make it to Ireland, you're going to see boos in the crowd every time Reiko Ioane touches the ball, or, that's fan engagement.
yeah.
The fans are there now.
100%.
They've got stakes in the game now. They
Yeah.
want to see the villain lose. And I heard someone on social media, forgot his name, but he was talking about we need a villain. It's good to have a villain because the villain is what people want to see come down. There's a reason why they trash talk on UFC, even though they're just acting in that. But that what makes the crowd come. That's why when you see the interviews between the boxers when they have those arguments, it's all part of trying to get the fans engaged.
They need to pay Floyd Mayweather to come down here and show New Zealand rugby and Auckland rugby and the Super Rugby Auckland itself how to freaking market the game, bro. You gotta, his plan of trying to be the greatest has worked, bro, and it's unmatched, man, right until this day. And he's not even freaking boxing.
Yeah.
It's still unmatched, bro. But yeah, bro, you need someone like him to come down here and show us how it's done, man. But I mean, if that little sledge that this book that hasn't even come out is the start of it, bro, let's ride that wave, man. We are the best, man. Like, there's no doubt New Zealand breeds the best football and rugby league players and possibly basketball players, rowers, sailors. Like, there's nothing that New Zealand can't do.
Yeah.
It's just, man, how we go about trying to market it in the right places, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? I think if you watch Breakdown, they won't even talk about this topic.
They won't. Yeah.
Nah, it'd be too fiffy, man.
Yeah. No,
But in our 360 would. In our
Yeah.
360 would definitely talk
they'll
about.
argue it too.
They'll argue it too. Yeah.
No,
That's what the fans want to see.
Yeah, bro. Like, I reckon we'll super be in the villain, eh? Like the All Blacks being the villain. Like you said, Cam, we need a villain, and I reckon the All Blacks can be that. Like, we can be the team that everyone hates, and that will drive us. And like Leti, like you mentioned it before, with Tana Umanga, like there was no humble culture. Because if we were humble, we would have stopped at 50 when we were beating Japan back in the day. But now we went to 100 and something. Like, we had the kill instinct. Like, it's rugby. It's competitive. Like, it's on the field where we're literally battling each other for, like, control of a rubber ball, you know? Like, we're smacking each other in the rucks. Like, it's basically a battle, but without, like, fatalities. You know, we're running at each other at speeds and, like, heading and, man, like, if they say that we're a humble culture, we're not. We always want to win, and the fans show it. When the All Blacks lose, the fans are the first ones to dog the All Blacks. They're the first ones to jump in and, hey, well, what's going on? Like, even recently, we've gone through coaches because of the fans and their disapproval. You know, we've gone through so many coaches. Even with Razor being on board, you know, he's getting slack at the moment. You know, man, I actually would enjoy us being the villain. You know, let them hate us. I reckon that would be the drive that we need to get back to where we were. You know, to Richie McCaw kind of era. You know, but yeah, see how it goes.
I think the Ioane brothers have always been seen as the villain, or think themselves as the villain, because those two brothers, if you look at all their games since they're young, coming through the Auckland system, like they've always involved in those niggly things that happen on the field. You know, the pushing and shoving and all that kind of stuff, and you can tell like. They're trash talkers. You know, you can tell they're trash talkers, and when they win games, they back it up when it comes to that. I remember when Reiko used to fold his hands after he scores a try. Scores a try, he stands up and fold his arms, like that. And then I remember when Crusaders played us at Eden Park. I was there that game. They won. They beat us. But Several Reese, he scored a try and he stood up and did the same move, folded his arms.
Yeah.
To our crowd. I remember seeing that, I was pissed off. Like, but you know, that's what happens with the fans. And the fans, they get engaged and they want to see some payback next time around, so they come to the games and all that kind of stuff. That's what NZR fails to understand about catering for the fans. Like, you need to have this stuff now. It's too late. You can't hide from being like careful. You can't hide from, because the rest of the world is doing it. We can't, like, there's internet. People watch other sports, other countries, and see what happens. Like, people watch NFL, people watch NRL, and see how crazy those fans are, and see why the drama happens. And you know, all these players get in trouble for off the field incidents, and they come on the field, and you know, there's that banter. You know that the media takes all that and blows it up. New Zealand never does that, but the rest of the world is doing it. That's why we're watching these other sports, because it's more exciting. There's more things to watch. Now, that same game, when I was there, after Several Reese folded his arms, I think Richie Wong, he scored a try and did this to the crowd, to the Eden Park crowd. After he scored a try, and I saw that on the big screen, I was like, fuck you, cunt. Like I was pissed off, man. Like, but that's what people need to do, understand. That's what happens, man. That's, the fans get emotional. You need to build that emotion. You need to, like, target those emotions on the fans, man. You know, and you can only do that by making the stakes high. Like, I don't know, like, the banter is part of it, but the media is part of it too. The media has to build that up. You know, the
media's got to catch on to it.
Media has to catch on to it and build it. And then NZR, you're supposed to take it and double down on it and make it an event. You know, like when I saw the Castle Boys final against St. Kitts. You see, you read some of their signs. That comes from passion. That comes from passion, and that comes from a narrative. You know, there's signs about we're broke. What was the sign? Hashtag
up the bankruptcy.
Up the bankruptcy. That's not a random sign. That comes from a narrative. And that narrative is built from what people are talking about. And you got to build on that. If people talk about it, don't ignore it. You got to build on it and make it something. And that's how you do it. And when it comes to Super Rugby, there is absolutely zero narrative anywhere. Players try to do it. Like several recent dude, I know that try to do it, trying to mock the try scoring celebration. Nothing came out of it. So yeah, I'm all for what happened.
CEO.
Yeah,
Man,
it's like New Zealand's too far behind, man.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna do anything about it. Like I know they're not gonna do anything about it because otherwise what would have happened. And they can't stop what we see overseas. They can't stop what we see overseas because the world's just going to move on without us, and we're going to be scratching our heads why the sport isn't. Rugby's supposed to be number one sport, but how can it's number one sport when you see the crowd on TV and there's no one there? Silly. In other news in sport, James O'Connor, he's signed up with the Crusaders, and they got a little bit of drama. People thinking, why are we getting this Australian here? And he might be stopping another guy coming up. But I don't know. Crusaders, there's a second international guy they've got. They got Pablo Patera from Argentina. He come over year after last year to play for the Crusaders. I don't think anyone complained about that.
No.
But James O'Connor's now signed. So yeah, people are complaining about that. Some people, but just goes to show the depth of New Zealand rugby first fives. Like David McKenzie, he's leaving next year. So who we got as first five? We got Burton Barrett, who's after him? Ruben Love, maybe. So our stocks are low, Perifetzer.
Plummer.
Yeah, Harry Plummer. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on James O'Connor coming over to New Zealand?
Well, I welcome the bro home. He is Kiwi. His parents are Kiwis. So just north of the bridge here, set north. But no, I think it's a good thing, man. I think it's a poor judgment call for New Zealand rugby to open that window for him to get a super contract because of if Super Rugby is the pinnacle, like, and you start from schoolboys rugby and club rugby, if that's where you want to be, like all these guys that are playing NPC at the moment, that's a sort of shitting on them, because then you're then behind all these guys. But I mean, we did it ourselves. Auckland did it by getting what's his name, Christian Lealefano to fill in FS5. Like, what's the difference? So I think them doing that should be the next thing. You might as well open the gate and let everyone else that's playing overseas that's got New Zealand ties to come back and play. I mean, if they're gonna let him come and play in Super, because then you're looking at the schoolboys talent and their first five from I can't even. Is it from Nelson? The one with the mullet. He's playing schoolboys rugby. He's playing good. When you first saw Sevu Reese and Damian McKenzie playing schoolboys together, that was pretty much their midfield pairing, Yeah, I think New Zealand's safe in terms of first fives. It's just whether they choose to hold on to that talent that's in the schoolboy system at the moment. Because New Zealand's just typical. They've always taken guys out of position and honed them and made them into other, like if your first choice was to play first five, they turn you into a winger. Like New Zealand's renowned for doing that. Yeah, it's just there's only a handful of specialists first fives, but not actually welcome that idea, bringing guys from overseas. It goes to show that the standard of competition needs to come up, if anything. So having a guy with All Blacks experience, I think the only guy that will be pissed is probably Stephen Donald, bro. So no need to be upset about it. I mean, but he has every right to come and play over here. Well, those are my thoughts.
I'm looking at it from both sides. Yeah, one, maybe we should focus on developing our young players, especially from schoolboys to NPC to Super Rugby. But at the same time, it might be a good incentive for the young guys to push their game a bit more to, try and get that spot. James O'Connor hasn't really done like 64 tests for Aussie, 120 Super Rugby games. He's done some games in Europe, I believe. Yeah, it's good to bring him in, I reckon. And like, I think we spoke on the podcast maybe about 4 episodes ago, maybe like doing just a local comp and scrap the Super Rugby, but keep bringing in these international players just to bring more hype to the
Mm.
teams. You know, like we shouldn't be discriminative. I reckon, yeah, bring in from Japan, Argentina, France, like bring those players here because those European tournaments, you know, the top 14, you know, the European Cups and all that. How many islanders play in those comps? And they just fucking the crowd love them, eh? So I reckon maybe having O'Connor here might be a bit of a draw card, you know. But in saying that, is he past his best? You know, I haven't seen him play recently, but I feel like it's a quick fix on the Crusaders side of things. You know, just to fill that spot. But yeah, time will tell. I'm excited to see him play. I remember him like ripping us to shreds in some games. And then I always remember, I think he was like a little bit sick or he must have been injured in one game when they played against the Blues and bloody Renee Ranger like bowled him over on the sideline. I remember that, like I was at that game too. So, now time will tell. Hopefully it draws in more crowds, more fans to the games. But yeah, we'll see.
I think it's a good move for. I mean, White Crocker talked about it's going to be bad for New Zealand rugby because no guy coming up will fill that spot. But then again, you know, it's good for Australian rugby. Now someone can fill that spot where James O'Connor would have been, and Australia needs all the help they can get because they need to come up to make the Super Rugby competition more competitive, and it's a good thing for the competition. Plus, I don't see the difference between any competition around the world where players within the comp swap around other teams. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a different structure there because they're owned individually. Each club's owned individually by an owner. Whereas here in Super Rugby, it's owned by NZR, everything. So that's why a lot of, if you're signed to the Blues, you're signed to NZR. If you're signed to Crusaders, you're still signed to NZR.
Mm.
So they control the amount of New Zealand players they can play in New Zealand, and same as Australia. So you don't really get that swapping around because there's only two unions that are in control. So it's from the best interest of that union. So that decision will go up to All Blacks level because, you know, all the Super Rugby franchises are connected to the All Blacks. So whatever's good for the franchises has always have to be good for the All Blacks, and that's the main thing. So they probably found a way that James O'Connor can come in to the Crusaders and not affect the All Blacks at all. So, yeah. So I think any decision that's made like that, you got to look at what's good for the Wallabies and what's good for the All Blacks.
Mm.
Yeah. But that just tells me there's not many number 10s out there that's worthy enough to get to the next level. And there needs to be a big rebuilding there. I don't know. But it helps Australian rugby anyway. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. Yeah, so tonight we've got the grand final. Predictions. Who's going to win? Who's going to win out of the Panthers and the Storm tonight? Who you got, Eddie?
Oh man, I'm splitting. My oldest brother, Leo, actually played for one of the feeder clubs for the Panthers way back in the day. He represented the Australian schoolboys, first 13. So he's been in that system for ages. So he's a Panthers hardcore. Even he found out that one of my managers is a Panthers supporter. So he got a signed jersey by Nathan Cleary and sent it over just for my boss, not for me, my boss. He's you know, so in saying that, I want to go against the Panthers just to piss them off a bit, but just for the Tulsa, more players that play for the Panthers,
Not
you
the
know,
Tulsa Wardrobe, God.
yo, I
Yo.
want to go, but I feel for Jerome Hughes. I've really enjoyed watching him play this year. One of my boys, Sam Perini, he's a diehard Storms fan, and I've been watching the games with him, and I've kind of got a soft spot for the Storm a little bit as well. I mean, I'm a Broncos boy. My team didn't even make the final, so I'm leaning towards Panthers to win it, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Storm win. Yeah, so I'm just gonna sit on the fence on this one.
Oh man, I'm gonna tip the Panthers 12 plus.
Let's
I
go,
think
Phil.
yeah, I reckon they want to send the two boys off to the Tigers on a massive as high before
Yep.
they leave. And yeah, I didn't see the result going the Storm way. Not this time. I did watch the rerun of the 2020 grand final this morning though, and that was ugly to watch. But yeah, there's still a good core of that Penrith team that's still there. That was when Cameron Smith was still at the helm at the Storm too. So yeah, man, I reckon Penrith by 12, eh?
Nice.
This is a hard one, man. This is a hard one. And I don't know if the loss of Solomona has evened things up or made things harder for Storm. But the Storm has had a good year, man. They're minor premierships for a reason. And they've just been a solid team all year. You know, their spine has been devastating. And, you know, there's games they won in the earlier finals rounds. Man, they played awesome. You know, and they win against Sharks, I think. Or Sharks, eh? Or Sharks. That win was impressive. And I think Storm's going to do it. I think because I just think like it's their time again. Because if you think about it, they've been there and thereabouts for the last 3 years.
Storm Roosters,
right?
I think.
Huh?
Was it Storm Roosters?
Storm Roosters, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Storm will do it because I think the last 3 years they've been there and thereabouts. And it's probably their time. And the only difference is that Jerome Hughes is Daly Award winner. So I think they've got all the pieces together now that they've shown that they can win it. They can pip them. But at the same time, man. Cleary, man. Fucking Cleary, man.
Just say it was. It doesn't matter which Pongao goes off.
Oh,
it doesn't
man.
matter which Pongao goes off. Fucking one of them's gonna come back on and pull something out of their moulier.
At the same time, Cleary can just turn the game around in the last minute, man, and do what he did to the Broncos last year. So, fuck, it's a hard one, eh?
Well, watching that final today was great. Like, I think it was like 20 minutes, eh? The Storm was 26-0 up. And that was the rest of the first half. That was the first half, bro. And look what's happened since then. Like, Penrith have made every grand final, and that's from 2020, bro. So after they got their shit handed to them in that first final, when Cameron Smith's last final, bro, they've been there, so they know what's up. So for Melbourne to come to Sydney and try and do it in Sydney, it's like, whoa, that's a big ass. But you know, that fucking Cleary, bro. That shoulder's not even soles. This is a gimmick, man. It's a gimmick. They're playing mind games, bro. Shoulder's not even Lavelle.
So I could actually flip a coin and then do my vote that way. But I'm giving it to Storm, man. I just think Storm ain't no Broncos from last year, man.
Yeah.
Broncos should have won that game last year, and I think if it was a Storm that was playing that with that lead, they would have won.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be a harder game than last year for Penrith, and without Stephen Crichton, they're a different team. Shit, they still got Cleary though, but I'm going for Storm.
Man, last year's game, mate, I was like happy until like that last 10 minutes.
Right.
I was laying in bed, I was just looking at my phone. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I felt sorry for my cousin way, man, because after man's third try, I was like, congrats, cuz. And then when the game turned, he turned his phone off, for he was MIA for like 3 months, and then he rings. So I was like, oi, there you are. Fuck. You can't write the guys off from out west, man. Shit.
Yeah.
But 12 plus, man, is a good weather for 12 plus.
Okay, boys, down to some Fia Poko of the week. Let's go.
Man, I cannot make this shit up, bro. I don't know why my algorithm managed to find these things, man, but I managed to find it's a lady. She's obviously following her son on her bike, and she obviously tells him, look, make sure you're safe, and you look both ways, and they just leave each other from the supermarket. They must only get like maybe 5 minutes up the road. And then of all things happen, bro, the mum runs her son over on the bike. Like, how the hell? And what's funny is like, she said that she didn't even see him, man. But he's got his GoPro on his helmet. But I was like thinking, what the fuck? That's gotta be Fia Poko when you give your son advice to be careful.
Are always worried if you ride because there's a lot of dumb drivers out there. And well, she definitely wasn't wrong.
Man, you cannot make this shit up, eh?
Oh my God, Jacob! I'm so sorry, Jacob. God damn it, Mom! I didn't even.
God damn it, Mom.
And she didn't even see him. Oh gosh,
Oh.
that's probably the biggest dagger, eh?
Yo.
There's another one
for
where
not going off at his mom, though.
no, very hard. I probably wouldn't have, man.
Yeah.
What my parents did that to me. Another one is from America's Got No Talent, and it's a guy who's obviously angry at the fact that he's at the park with the kids because there's no shade. So he puts his son on, or looks like daughter, onto the what looks like the flying flocks. With no hesitation or explanation, try to tell her how to hold on to it. That's those gongi vale ones.
Oh.
Man, this is why you just don't take your kids down.
Shit.
But can you see
That's
that?
face first.
It's a balangi for you, mate.
Yeah.
Face first thing.
That is just bloody hell. Another one's a guy. So this is a you never know. Oh, no, with it, Gerald, and he's obviously trying to be those Fia Poko, trying to tell you how to remove the strut from the bonnet. So there's a way you remove the strut. What you do is you take the circular puff at the bottom and then you pull out the bottom. But this guy Fia Poko and got a hammer and decided this is the fastest way to remove the strut from the bonnet. And yeah, people, if you're watching, man, just remove the circlip at the bottom. Yeah, ngale. There's a way and there's ways. Like David said, there's a way and there are ways. Just remove the circlet from the bottom of the strut. It's faster. It's easier, safer. And this one, I can't make this shit up, man. But this is from Bruno Hughes. And it's Carlo Pfizer guy is obviously, he's trying to put plastic bags on his feet. And I don't know why the guy walking past might have thought, oh man, poor dude. So he goes and he tries to, try and make good for the situation, but he returns, man, and it's what he returns with that makes me think, bro, this is Fia Poko at a new level. So he hands the poor guy some a box and gives him the thumbs up, and then he sees that it's mokanga peppers for his feet. So it's like galify. So I don't know if you could call that Fia Poko or if that's just the new age of Fia Poko. Eh? And then I got another one, two more. Another one's from the random videos. It's a party, man. You know how everyone's got that one uncle Fia Poko when it comes to the hitting the what's it called? I forgot. The pinata. Is there always that one uncle? He's miskatun. It's like instead of just sitting his ass down, let the kids hit it, he picks it up and but the confidence to go bring your own stick. That's where I'm like, what the fuck, man? Who goes takes their own stick to the party to hit the pinata?
Man was ready.
Fuck. It's always that one uncle way. And the last one is this when you finally find the best account on TV on TV bloopers, and it's a lady. She's been asked a question, and oh my gosh, I thought to myself. So she gets asked to spell her last name, first and last name.
FIRST.
First and last name.
Erica O'Donnell.
And can you spell first and last?
FIRST.
Oh my god. She's not wrong.
It was the oh my gosh for me. I don't know. But man. But that
It's not
is
wrong,
the
but
world.
why would you want that answer?
I'm gonna check it to you guys, bro, because I think the uncle cracked me up for real, but then the guy he got sorted by his mum made it even funnier. Eh?
Oh man, are we the guy pushing the kid?
Oh, yeah.
Fia Poko of the week.
Yo,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
pushing the kid.
Oh man.
That's mine. Having a bad day, the dad.
Like,
Take it on the kid.
America's not got no talent. That's he's a winner of that Fia Poko with that one, bro.
facts.
Okay, boys, I got a Uppercut Yaself award, and it goes to a story that came out this morning. So, a Navy ship is sailed over to Samoa for the Chogam that's going over there in Samoa. So King Charles is heading over there, well, plus a group of international delegates to have a meeting about environmental stuff and stuff that's going on. So, yeah, so I guess a lot of security will be going over. New Zealand government will be going over in the form of maybe Winston Peters because he's the foreign minister. So a lot of police from New Zealand, a lot of like security and all that. So New Zealand Navy sent a ship over. So apparently this morning it crashed into a reef and it started to sink and it's on fire and now it's sunken. Luckily the crew is saved. So tugboats had to go out there and rescue the crew. But man, how embarrassing for New Zealand Navy to first of all crash into a reef. Obviously there's a reef there. And obviously it's New Zealand Navy, aren't they supposed to be experts in all this stuff? And now you're facing like $100 million loss of a battleship or ship, a naval ship, and destroying marine life and the coral reef out there, like destroying the environment of little Samoa. How fucked up is that?
I figured out what it was. I figured out what it was there. Because you remember how when everyone went to Pack and Save and they were trying to swipe their cards and it wasn't working? The guy pushed update. Instead of pushing ignore, he pushed update, and that's what happened. The boy lost control and then kill itself, and see what happened. Expensive mistake, man. Expensive mistake.
What makes it worse is this Navy ship specializes in geographical locations.
No.
So it's the HMS Manawanui, which specializes in eradicating explosives, underwater submerged object recovery. It also supports government agencies in the region, so New Zealand Police, Customs, Ministry of Primary Industries, Ministry of Civil Defence, and Emergency Management. So this ship not only did it run aground, but it specializes in not running into the ground.
Oh, stop, please. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, you each pick a boxer and you say which guy's gonna deliver the uppercuts. Okay, pick a boxer. Pick a boxer. I'm gonna go with David Tua, right uppercut.
Oh, I'm giving Mike Tyson's uppercut.
Oh no, there's vitality right there. Okay, Eddie, who's uppercut?
Man, both of them. No, Charles will come and do it.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, deserved uppercut award for the Royal New Zealand Navy.
For real shit. $100 million, and I hope now they're gonna give us free lapisi. Depending on chuck anything on the fucking land rates.
Oh, they will.
Or tax us.
And then all the international leaders will come and don't you hear about the New Zealand ship?
No, they'll have the meeting, but they'll still see the boat.
Oh, don't tell me they're gonna tax the Samoan foreign aid assistance.
Oh,
shocking.
I'll just make a quick one, man. So last night we went to me and the boys, Sapiti, Vaughan, David, and Alex. We went to a Chinese barbecue buffet out in New Lynn. It's on 1 McRae Way in New Lynn. It's called Red Mountain, and it's like a typical all you can eat buffet. So they have the cooker, but they got the extractor fan, so it doesn't get smoky. So it's quite a nice fresh environment. Like all the smoke from cooking the meats goes into the vent and whatnot. So it's pretty nice, clean. It's a little bit spacious for the tables as well. Great selection of meats and food they cook, and they also got cooked food there, deep fried nibbles, noodles. I think they had this braised pork. It was similar to the Filipino adobo. Heaps of salads, sushi, a lot of stuff to pick from, sauces. But it was really good quality food. It was a good spot to go to. I was just cracking up because when I rang up to book, I was like, oh, can I book for 5? And the guy, with his hair, the Chinese accent, he said, oh, who's it for? I said, oh, for Eddie, E-D-D-I-E. And he goes, okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. I was like, oh, yo, no worries. Silly. And then when we rocked up, 5 big island dudes rocking up. And he's like, Eddie? If I said Samuelu or, he would have been like, oh, no, sorry, we're booked. He would have been cracking up. He's like, oh, this guy using his English name, eh? No, but it was a good night. It was good food. Yo.
I got one sent in from my cousin who's out on Tito. He stopped into the bakery pie. So I'll quickly read it because he comments on the other page, clip page. So we got a pie at a place called Oxford Bakery. It's a lunch bar just outside of Tito. He said this wasn't the most out of order. This was most out of the ordinary pie. So, amongst the standard steak and cheese and the butter chicken, the pork and watercress pie. He said it was pretty filling though. Strong, not overwhelming, boil up taste. Has slight minty note. The pork was scarce. LOL, and then 2 pieces, but they were fatty parts from the parts of the pork belly. Soft pastry wasn't too flaky, but a 4 out of 5 he gave it. He said a little bit more pork would have given it a 5 out of 5, and that's in his pie places of all time. So the Oxford Bakery lunch bar in Tiro, and that's from your boy Vita Himona. Yeah, so if you're ever on a road trip this holidays, yeah, stop in at the Oxford Bakery and try their pork and watercress pie. Sole. Just figured about that gout throbbing in my leg after reading the pork. Sole.
So boys, should do still quick. What have you been watching? Let's go, Eddie.
Oh man, the new season of Unsolved Mysteries came out. Enough said.
I'm all scared now. I went from hungry to being scared.
So, I make sure that after I watch it, I watch some funny things on YouTube before I sleep. It's my guilty pleasure, man. Yeah, sorry boys. Yeah, that's all I got.
Just keeping up with Rona. She finally made a go after he finished his graduation. Just watching the end of that. Sports Cafe. They've come back there on podcast now on YouTube. And then Treasure Island, man. Celebrity Treasure Island, bro. That's been the watch ever since I heard that Christian Cullen was on it. Ooh. So some pretty interesting challenges. I think the most famous one from last week's episode was seeing Gabby from New FM and Kama Sipoloni do one of their challenges, which was pretty powerful for Pacifica scene. I think it was flooded the TikToks and all the reels last week. That's all I've been watching also, and probably just reruns of bloody Friends, man, because the kids leave it on when they go to sleep.
So boys, yeah, man, I finished watching. I'm up to date with Industry season 3. Man, that last episode, season 3, just ripped my heart out, man. It was one episode that just got me in the feels afterwards. Like, there's some episodes that do that. Like, something happens and you're like, fuck.
Cliffhangers.
Yeah. Well, this one wasn't really a cliffhanger, but it was just because there was a season 4. Because I thought it was the end because it looked like the end, but then I read afterwards there was season 4. So it's true. How are they gonna do that? Because it looked like the end, but if it was the end, how it gets resolved with all these storylines. One of the storylines, man, ripped my heart out. And it was just one of those things that you think it's going to happen, but it doesn't. And you think the worst, and you will never go there, but it does. And you're like, fuck. So that's what happened at the end of season 3 with Industry. It's good. It's a good series, man. You guys should give it a go if you're into that sort of stuff. Probably learn stuff that will keep you from getting in trouble from New Zealand lawyers, man. When it comes to that business side of things. And like I mentioned before at the beginning of the podcast, I went to the movies twice yesterday, watched the Joker, Folle 2, the second Todd Phillips movie of the Joker. I don't know if you guys watched the first one, but I described it as kicking the guts to Batman fans, to comic book fans, because it does the opposite, right? And I think if you remember Joker 1, the first one, it's really a commentary on how society treats people with mental health, and how it fails them, and sometimes the outcome is deadly. If you think about what the Joker goes through in the first movie, he's got mental health problems, and and society fails him, and he ends up killing 6 people, including his mum. And he goes on to a TV show that's televised, intending on killing himself, changes his mind, and he kills the guy that's hosting the show, which puts him in jail. So that's the end of that movie. But yeah, it's a commentary on all that kind of stuff, what society, sort of how we treat people with mental health, and we just don't care. And I believe that this movie, the second one, I think the writer and director was trying to make a point to say that, okay, you guys liked that first one for a reason that wasn't the intended reason, and that, so we're going to double down on that same theme, which makes it a bad movie in terms of it's not a good watch. and it's hard to watch in terms of it's so depressing. And you're there watching it and you're wondering, is this going to be any good? Because it's just relentless sort of this whole movie, right? It sets you down the path of it's going to be a happy ending, but then it sucks you back and it reminds you that there's no happy ending, man. It's just depression, all the way to the end. And you're thinking, what the fuck did I just watch? But I think it's intentional. I think if you're a comic book fan and you Batman fan, you're a Joker fan, this is a kick in the guts to all those fans that, because this is a story that's telling a different story. And it's using the character like the Joker, comic book character, to tell that story. And it's not what you're going to think. And I think that's why there's been a lot of bad reviews out for that film.
Damn, already.
And that's the reason why. And I think to like this movie, you got to appreciate what it's trying to say. You have to appreciate what this movie is trying to say. Because it is the same themes as the first one. It's all about how society treats the people with mental health and how we view them as we sort of like, we want them to fail in terms of we won't be surprised if something bad happens. It's almost like society wants them to fail, wants them to do some bad things, because we can fall on the back of the safety of they had mental health issues, and that's depressing. That's depressing.
Right?
That's what this film is telling.
Heavy,
It's heavy. And that's what this film is trying to tell you, and it's got nothing to do with the comic books, nothing to do with the Joker character. This is the essence of what this movie is about, using the Joker character. So it's a kick in the guts to all the fans, and it's probably not the movie they wanted, but it's like the joke's on those fans. If any joke comes out of this film, the joke is on you. The joke is on the person watching.
But that's their masking their pain with humor, eh? That people allude to,
Yeah,
that's fuck's that. I don't really watch that, huh?
So it is sad. So after that, we watched Beetlejuice. I mean, I was a fan of the first one, The first Beetlejuice movie when I was a kid. Came out in '89. Still in primary school back then, and I remember it was probably a favorite in my family. Like my younger sisters, they loved it. It was one of those movies they always watched again when they came out on video. They always hired it out. Same, you're gonna get that movie again, because they loved it. They loved the whole storyline and all that kind of stuff. Because it's scary too, but not scary. It's like fun, kind of scary. So yeah, the first one is a classic, and I like the first one. The new one though, it's 36 years after. It's 36 years since the original Beetlejuice came out, and so yeah, I thought it was underwhelming. I thought it was trying its best to be a sequel, but I thought the character of Beetlejuice. I remember Beetlejuice in the first one. He's funny, man. Michael Keaton. He's funny. Like when he shows up in the first movie, he's funny all the way.
Yeah.
But this one, he's not really funny. I mean, there's funny bits, but I don't think he's the same character as he was in the first one. He doesn't make. There's one part that I laughed at real loud, but that was it. And yeah, I was not disappointed. It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a good movie either. And I thought that there were a lot of storylines happening within the film, and I thought that maybe there was one storyline too many, and should have kept it simple. And yeah, it was kind of it was okay. I give it 2.5 out of 5. So that's halfway. Oh, actually, I give it 2.5. No, I give it 2 out of 5, and I'll give the Joker 2.5 out of 5. So that's my what I've been watching. So, boys, should get into some last words. Let's go, Eddie.
No, last words, man. I went to see my cousin. She did some artwork at the QMU Art Gallery. My cousin's name is Joy, and it was about grief. We had a chat about it, and so my last words is probably her words to me is like, don't grieve alone. Yeah, it's not healthy. Especially being islanders, we're a collective, we're a clan-based people. So never grieve alone, man. Like if you're grieving, tell someone. Especially with my brother's birthday yesterday. I couldn't have done it by myself. No way. But when you get together as a group, like it's trying to stay positive. But yeah, never grieve by yourself, man. It leads to some dark thoughts, man. Always reach out. and there's always someone that will always answer the call, especially Islanders. We always answer the call. But yeah, man, my last words, never grieve alone.
Nice, bro. Ciao, Roos. Oh, no, man, nothing long for me today. I just going through a quotes page, and obviously with my week last week and how my girl's been on my ass about getting on the health wagon again. I just want to close with my last words is never be afraid to change. You may lose something good, but you might gain something even better. So in saying that, yeah, man, it's time to reflect on the things that I want, want to correct, and that's my health, man. Like, I've been going on about it for too long. It's about time to start being accountable, and just grateful for the opportunity to be on here, man, and part of you boys. I thank Ken for the opportunity every time I get to lace something with you. We're 100 plus deep, man, and we haven't celebrated it. So I thought, if I can show it to my 40th sober and stay sober the whole night, why not just make an event of maybe going for a walk and catching up for some milkshakes, bro. So yeah, man, that's the last words from me. You know what it is. Get a late in a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, boys. Yeah, my last words, man, like just reflecting over what we talked about today, especially with the Nadene Lomu thing, and to what podcasts have done with this crime that probably still unsolved. The power of podcasts, and how we have done it. We are talking about topics that probably no one else talks about or doesn't get touched on. But from our perspective, our Polynesian perspective, our Pacifica perspective, it's important, man. Because even if it doesn't matter how much views you get or anything like that, or that doesn't matter. It's actually having a conversation about it and to get it out there. Because whoever has a listen to it can back up their ideas or inspire them to give their ideas. Because ideas for any opinion is a good idea. Because you need to have it. You need to have different opinions. You need to find two sides of the same story. Otherwise, you'll never get the correct answer. And the conversation has to keep on going. Especially for those that don't have a voice. Especially for stories that don't have the time of day. And I think what the boys at the Offside Show have done to bring out the story and give their opinion from Elioto, who is a lawyer, who is educated in that field, who knows how to look for the information, look for the facts, and then give his educated opinion on what's going on or anything that doesn't get the time of day, which allows us to come off the back of that and give our own opinions. Like, it's good. And I wish there was like 10 other podcasts that do the same. Polynesian podcasts or Pacific podcasts that do the same, that are not mainstream media, but do it in their own opinion where it's a different take on anything. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from or what your education is, or every opinion matters because it's something to add on to give the big picture a big picture. Give anything a big picture,
Yeah.
To make it big so people can understand and find out for themselves. Because it's all about finding out the truth. And you can scour through everything, all the information, and try to put together what you think the truth is. Because, with all the fake news and everything that's out there, it's hard to do it. But, it's a good exercise and good, and that's why I love the WesWes Network, to give these platforms the time of day. Whether it be sport, Inside the Clip, talking about current affairs or anything to do with us or our generation or our people. Like, get it out there, because there needs to be more. And there needs to be more versions of it. Not just one mainstream version that everyone else has to go on because it sells, or it's interesting. Everything is interesting. Everyone's got a story to tell, and I'm happy to have this platform to give those stories the time of day. So thanks, boys, for jumping on. And man, that was my last words for Inside the Clip. We'll do this again next week, boys. Man, stay safe. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, boys. Have a good one, eh?